Welcome to Practical Business Technology, where we keep you in the know about technology's impact on business. Today's show is sponsored by the Maricopa County Bar Association, and our host is Dave Kinsey, author and owner of Total Networks. Hi, I'm Stephanie.
And I'm Dave.
And today we're going to talk about Dave's favorite topic, Bitcoin.
Ooh.
So for our listeners who aren't aware, Dave is the author of The Blockchain Code. It's a book you can find on Amazon, and he wrote all about how Bitcoin came to be, the history behind it, and how it works. And Bitcoin has been in the news a lot lately again.
It tends to do that when it shoots up in price and people think it's worth ridiculous amounts of money. So yes, and right now, at the moment, we're recording this in mid-May of 2021, and the Bitcoin is trading at, I think, $43,000 a Bitcoin. It was up to $65,000, $66,000 a Bitcoin a couple weeks ago. So,
yeah, and a couple weeks ago, or maybe it was just a week ago, there was a hack with the pipeline.
Yep.
And
shut down the whole East Coast or Southeast Coast gasoline supply.
And it caused a big panic. It caused people to buy more gas than they really needed, so that we ran out of even more gas. And in the end, they paid the ransom.
Yeah, which is just wrong. You're not supposed to negotiate with terrorists, right?
Yeah, so it kind of goes back to the beginnings of ransomware. The way that ransomware became so successful was related to Bitcoin, wasn't it?
Yeah, Bitcoin made ransomware practical. You know, the concept maybe existed before, but it wasn't really practical. Because what are you going to do? You're going to try to shake somebody down to try to have them send you, Western Union money. You could sort of, you can trace these things.
So you can't trace Bitcoin? Is that why they use it for ransomware?
Correct. You cannot reasonably trace Bitcoin in the hands of people that are adept at using it, the experts. If you're a casual investor, say you're going to Coinbase and you're rolling the dice to try to make money, yeah, you're going to be traced. 95% of the people that are interacting with Bitcoin are probably can be traced. But where 95% of the money supply, where 95% of the people that actually own all these coins, that they're largely savvy and capable of transacting and being untraced. And
and I suppose that's how they were able to get $5 million in Bitcoin for this pipeline.
Yeah, it was 75 coins, 75 Bitcoins. Of course, that's now worth, I don't know, $3 million now.
But
in theory.
They got a lot of money for this hack of the pipeline, and they didn't get caught.
Yeah, but think of all the disruption. That's billions of dollars worth of disruption to the economy for these, for these 75 Bitcoins. Anyway.
So I guess that's the whole idea with ransomware is the criminal encrypts your data. They have the key. They extort and ask for money. If you don't have good backups and you have to pay the money, we're never going to catch who did it.
Yeah, well, and that's how it started out, was about saying, give me the money so we can get your data back. And that is still the case. But now they also say, if you don't pay up, we will leak your data. Of which, can they actually do that or not? You don't know.
That reminds me of a Black Mirror episode. But yeah, so is that what happened with the pipeline, that they were able to restore from backup?
In theory, yeah. They say supposedly the utility or whatever they gave them to restore the data was so slow, they didn't actually use it apparently to restore the data. But they paid the ransom, I'm guessing, to avoid having them leak the data.
Again, we're negotiating with
terrorists. This is such a bad precedent, and it's acceptable. It's become part of our society. What kind of society do we want to live in where we allow this to happen? We don't have to allow this. We don't have to allow Bitcoin, and specifically cryptocurrency exchanges. There are money transmission laws that have been on the books for ages that probably should have prevented cryptocurrency exchanges from being licensed in the first place and could be used to revoke them. Well, maybe not now. They probably need to pass a law.
So Bitcoin is structured such that it can be anonymous and non-traceable,
Correct.
but not all cryptocurrency is designed that way, correct?
That's true, and I didn't really go into that in my book. I probably need to. I need to write a new book, or I need to have a new version of my book out there. I kind of glossed over that a bit. There are crypto coins like Ripple. The symbol for that is XRP. I don't know why, but Ripple is a permissioned Bitcoin, blockchain coin, which means non-anonymous. They track it. It was actually created really to replace a system called FAST. That's a symbol, FAST. It's I forget what it stands for, but it's basically it's a interbank transfer protocol, and so this would theoretically provide better automation, more transparency, and all that for that. And they've talked about having government coins. You could have cryptocurrency and have it maybe not be so crypto. Crypto really means hidden, is that's what it used to mean. Now crypto means, it's the hip term for cryptocurrency. But
Yeah, well, there's all these different ones. Like there's the Dogecoin.
yeah, with the meme, yeah, the Shibu Inu, whatever. It's got the dog.
Right, which I think was designed just as a joke.
Yeah, in theory,
But-
it was supposedly a joke coin. Yeah.
Right, so
And it does not have a limited money supply. So there's a gazillion, there's lots and lots of.
so that's another point. Bitcoin has a certain number of coins. There's a limit. And
21 million, sort of, kind of.
21 million Bitcoin out in the world. There cannot be any more than that. However, when you say kind of, sort of, why do you say that?
Well, number one, the vast majority of these coins were given away to the creators and the early adopters, the predominantly hardcore crypto anarchists out there. So that's one issue. Issue number two is it is incredibly easy to copy cryptocurrency. When that is done, when you copy the coins themselves, it's called a hard fork. People talk about it in the cryptocurrency world like there's some innovation that's happening where you've got to create this new protocol and increase the block size or change this other feature which makes it incompatible with the old Bitcoin, but now it's so much better and whatever. And it creates copies, and you can spend those same coins again and again and again. So they're like, Bitcoins become Bitcoin Cash or Bitcoin Diamond or Bitcoin Gold or Bitcoin whatever. And the same people, all those people, particularly those, people that had not gazillion because there's a limit, the millions and millions of Bitcoins to get those same coins again. And then the investors that don't know any better, they'll buy half a coin from somebody who, that owns 10 million Bitcoins or, 2 million Bitcoins. They'll sell a 100th of a Bitcoin to pay their dollars and get that from those people. It's craziness.
So have you bought any Bitcoin, Dave?
I've not because I have some moral objections to investing, to this whole untraceable or anonymous things that can fund ransomware, which is a bad thing. It can, and it has actually funded kidnapping and other stuff.
Well, so what about?
I know what the prices are going to go up, so I'm kind of conflicted on this. So I know how the price of Bitcoin is manipulated. I mean, and arguably all sorts of commodities are manipulated. Stocks can be manipulated, right? GameStop has been manipulated by now the masses, not the hedge funds. It was
Sure,
originally.
I mean that's kind of the whole idea.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I mean I understand. As us being in the IT industry, and ransomware is something that we detest, and we do our best to help our clients be able to recover should they get it, and have all kinds of security layers in place so that it's very hard for the ransomware to happen. And And so when you have that associated with Bitcoin and knowing that it comes from a place of anonymity, I can't say that word.
Easy for you to say.
Being anonymous.
Yeah.
And all that, I get it. And but it is, I think, here to stay. We are going to have probably another incident in the news next week, and another one the week after that, and another one the week after that, because it's successful still.
Yeah. Well, and given how I know I mean, I honestly think the government should step in and do something, but I don't think it will. So part of me says maybe I should buy a Bitcoin for like $42,000 and watch it go up to $1 million a coin.
Well,
maybe it will. I
and
don't
if
know.
you buy it on Coinbase, you might be traced.
Oh yeah.
So just to be clear,
Oh yeah.
the people that
If
are
I'm
not
a casual investor, yeah.
the people that aren't traced are ones that don't buy it from a place like Coinbase. They know how to mine the coins themselves.
Well, or they mined them and gave themselves it a long time ago, so they've been part of this whole system for a long time. Yeah, basically that's where 95% of the money. I mean, it's impossible for me to know, right? Because it's anonymous.
Right, you don't
but
know.
Based off of just the math of when all the coins were distributed, when they were mined, almost every coin that has been quote unquote mined has already been mined. You're talking little tiny little bits of new Bitcoin that are out there. But you've got, you might have a person with 1 million Bitcoin or 2 million Bitcoin or 10 million Bitcoin. You could have one person with 10 million Bitcoin for all we know, and there's 21 million possible Bitcoin. There are really large holders of Bitcoin, and these people know what they're doing to remain anonymous. Mm-hmm. So 95% of the people, are traceable, and they may look at this, well, of course it's traceable and all that. Yeah, but the half of 1% of the people holding it own almost all the Bitcoin.
Right. Well, I certainly don't want to give any financial advice.
No.
Don't go buy GameStop or Bitcoin
No.
or, make your own decisions there.
Yeah, so when we're going to talk about NFTs.
Okay, well, what's an NFT?
Okay, an NFT stands for a non-fungible token. And the concept of this is that it's, once again, based on blockchain. So you have this, part of the problem I have with blockchain is there are some parts of blockchain that are fundamental parts of the internet. The whole idea of digital signatures. The internet would not exist without digital signatures that say, you are who you say you are. And that's part of the idea is you're saying you are the fundamental owner of this thing. And now there's supposedly value that's assigned to this, and the value is getting all inflated and funded by people that are trying to justify the price of Bitcoin. So you have the people that are bidding on this are big Bitcoin people that want to drive the price up of that. And it's a way to sort of get, people that are influencers, to get people that are writing news stories, to get people that are, celebrities or whatever, to say, hey, these things are awesome and valuable, and to try to then inflate the price of, cryptocurrency. Is there some potential value in this concept of non-fungible tokens? Maybe, but there's an awful lot of BS around it too. So that's kind of it in a nutshell. I can get into more of the details of how they work and whatnot, but things when you're dealing with cryptocurrency is spin, BS, and spin.
Tell us how you really feel, Dave.
All right, well, you really want to know?
All right, well, any other last thoughts?
Once again, I think actually some of the fundamental functionality of the quote-unquote blockchain, there may be some value in it. I just have some real concerns with the BS part and the anonymity. Might a government coin make sense? Might this Ripple thing where you're doing, transfers where you actually can trace it? Maybe. But part of the fundamental approach of cryptocurrency was that governments are bad. I want to avoid living in the constraints of government. No law enforcement, no lawyers. I mean, they have this concept of smart contracts. That's, supposedly, okay, we're living in this world where people are anonymous. How do you enforce rules and agreements and whatnot? So they create these smart contracts. Now, mediation is impossible. So are you ever going to end up with a lawyer involved in this? No. Is a court going to get involved in this? No. Because you have anonymous parties. So how does it, you're not going to court as, an anonymous address, right? So they've kind of this concept of computerized mediation or computerized, not mediation, basically computerized rules for commercial transactions that, deal with getting rid of lawyers from the mix, getting rid of laws, getting rid of governments. I just find this stuff so out there. What kind of world do we want to live in? We're living in a world based off of this stuff that shuts down pipelines.
Well, I can tell you after being in a pandemic for over a year, I want to live in a world with people.
Yes.
So.
Preach. Amen.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you, Dave. This was very fun to talk about.
Yeah, thank you.